Well, hello everybody, and welcome to my Future College Football 25 Dynasty Team Vote Selection Show. This is the selection show for my main tournament bracket, which will be starting coming up on Monday, May 13th. This is Vinny from VW Productions, and we have concluded all the conference voting polls from the preliminary to the conference final vote, and now shortly I will be revealing the 16 teams that are left in this tournament. But before then, I will be going into the breakdown as how this tournament is going to be proceeded, as well as the changes that I have made to this tournament, including why I expanded it from 10 teams to 16 teams. So before I get started, here are the breakdown. Alright, now here's the breakdown for my main voting tournament here. As I explained last week, I expanded the teams from 10 to 16. I originally only was going to have the winners of each of the final vote polls, but I decided to add some at-large teams. And of course, seedings will be determined by the total number of votes that you get from both the preliminary and the final vote polls. 10 automatic bids and 6 at-large bids. Of course, some at-large teams will be seeded higher than some of the automatic bids because of higher vote totals. And then some of the tiebreakers to be determined: if a team with an automatic bid and a team with an at-large bid have the same number of votes, the team who won their conference poll, the automatic bid, will get priority over the at-large team. And then if there are a tiebreaker between 2 automatic bids or 2 at-large teams, the second tiebreaker will be the highest total number of votes they received in the conference final. Then the third tiebreaker will be the higher preliminary vote total, and if we have to get that far, the coin toss, which I don't think we got that far in this tournament to decide the seeding, so I don't think we got that far. The main voting tournament poll will still start on May 13th. It will still be at least 72 hours long, but the length and the schedules of each match will be modified depending on the official release date of the game, meaning that I could have the schedule set, but if sometime in the next week, in the middle of the first round, that we have the dates of the official date of the game gets released, and it happens to be either earlier or later than the anticipated river date of July 19th, then I will modify it as according. And now that the logistics are out of the way, enough of hearing me talk, it's time for me to read the teams and the pairings. And we start off with the number 1 overall seed, the Oregon State Beavers, who are the champions of the Independent/Pac-12 poll. They get the number 1 seed, garnering a total of 52 combined votes between the preliminary and the conference final vote, including 37 votes in the conference final poll against UConn. And they will face the 16th seed Kennesaw State Owls, the winners from the Conference USA. They only had a combined 14 votes in both polls, in which the Conference USA had a terrible turnout voting-wise between both polls combined. And the next match we'll start off with the 8th seeded Georgia Southern Eagles, the first at-large team to be announced, and they were the runners-up in the Sun Belt Conference Final. They still get an at-large bid with a combined 26 votes from both the preliminary and the conference final voting poll. And they will take on the number 9 seed, the Cincinnati Bearcats, who were the runner-up from the Big 12 conference poll. And they fell just 1 vote shy of Georgia Southern for possibly getting that 8th seed. And now we head to the 5th seed, the Akron Zips, who are the highest at-large bid team, by the way, and the runner-up in the Mid-American Conference poll. 30 combined votes earned them the 5th seed as an at-large team. And they will face the MAC champion Kent State Golden Flashes, who they've lost to in the MAC final. However, the reason I'm going to allow this is because I did not make any stipulations when I did make the revamped everything for this tournament poll when I made the expansion and tiebreakers and stuff. I did not make a stipulation against conference matches, so here we go. We have a conference match in the first round, a rematch of the Mid-American Conference Finals. So anybody who did not vote in that, you have a second chance to vote, and maybe it could be a different turnout. Who knows? As we round up the bottom part of the first half of the bracket here, we have the 4 seed, the UCF Knights, the winner of the Big 12 polls, and have earned a combined 35 votes between the preliminary and the conference final vote poll. And they will take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons for the 14th seed, the ACC winners. They had a combined of 22 votes between the preliminary and the final poll, as we have concluded the first half of this bracket. And now starting the second half of the bracket, we now go to the 6th seed, the East Carolina Pirates, the winners of the American Athletic Conference polls, with a combined 27 votes that earns them the 6th seed. And they will face the 11th seed South Carolina Gamecocks, who won the SEC. They finished with 23 combined votes, the same as Kent State in total votes. However, they did win the tiebreaker for the higher seed, because they had the higher total number of votes in the conference final vote, the SEC conference final vote. Next up, we have the number 3 seed, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, the winners of the Mountain West Conference. They had the third highest total vote with 44 combined votes, as they will face the American Athletic Conference runner-up and the 14th seeded Temple Owls. Temple is the worst at-large team out of any of the teams that got in as an at-large. They only had a combined total votes of 20 between the preliminary and the conference final vote, as we now have 12 teams down. Time to reveal the last 4 teams. And the next team up will be the 7th seeded Purdue Boilermakers, who finished runners-up in the Big Ten final vote, but still received an at-large bid with 27 total votes, the same amount as East Carolina. However, East Carolina won the tiebreaker for the 6th seed due to the fact that they got in as an automatic qualifier and Purdue being an at-large. And they will face the 10-seeded UConn Huskies, which is the final at-large team to be announced. Despite getting blown out in the conference final vote, they had 16 votes in that round, with a combined of also adding the 8 additional votes for in the preliminary round, which makes it a grand total of 24. So they get in as an at-large team from the independent/Pac-2 with a combined 24 votes. And the final matchup to announce will be the number 2 seeded Indiana Hoosiers, the winner of the Big Ten poll. And with their combined 50 votes between the preliminary and the conference final vote, they are good enough to get the number 2 seed. And they will face the 15th seeded Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles, the winners of the Sun Belt. And of course, those are all 16 teams. You can look at the full bracket there. We're going to start off Monday, May 13th at 10 a.m. Eastern, where Oregon State and Kennesaw State will go until May 16th, 10 a.m. Eastern. Again, these are going to be 72-hour polls. So do go out and vote, as they're going to only be on Twitter and YouTube community tab this time. The Instagram will no longer be in existence voting wise, so do keep that in mind. And now that we reached the end of this video, don't forget to join me later tonight for my MLB The Show 24 content. It is my 2024 MLB season playthrough, as we are now in the middle of the month of June in this universe. Anyone who is unfamiliar with this, I do a playthrough season currently for MLB The Show to see how the world of MLB The Show goes. I play one game for every 3 to 4 calendar days. After the game, I do go and simulate through the games, as I do not play, to see the results of each game. Tonight's game, we will see the Detroit Tigers at the Houston Astros, which that game will be played on June 15th of 2024. And this, of course, is future in the season, future tense. And this video will be a premiere at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, so join me for this. And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to this channel, as well as hit the bell icon for notifications when videos do drop. Don't forget to vote everybody on the poll starting next week. And thank you for watching this video. Hopefully we will see you for tonight's premiere over on my MLB The Show content. If not, have a great weekend. Peace out, Paisans.